Wednesday is an ABC 17 Storm Track weather alert day. Tuesday night, though, we are quiet here in mid-Missouri. Things are mostly clear overnight. Any clouds that developed throughout the afternoon, those will wane with sunset. We've got temperatures falling out of the 90s into the 80s just after sunset. 87 there by around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, low 80s, 84. And then after midnight, we're falling into the 70s, and that's where we'll start tomorrow morning in the low 70s. And we're reaching back into the 90s just after the lunch hour, putting ourselves back into the upper 90s by as soon as 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock potentially, and that's where humidity is going to play a factor in just how hot it feels. We've got storm chances tomorrow, starting as soon as early tomorrow morning. That'll be a quick graze for our northern counties, but we also have a lot of heat before our next round of storms arrive into the evening. So I do want you to understand that it's going to be dangerously hot throughout the afternoon, even though we do have these chances for storms in the forecast. We've got a few clouds here this evening, but we're dry and warm. Temperatures, again, we already ran through that, but they'll stay in the 80s through about sunset, and then we're looking at 70s overnight into tomorrow morning. Storm chances, they arrive in the north near Macon and Brunswick by around 7 to 8 o'clock. This activity is going to just brush the northern part of mid-Missouri. Can't rule out a strong storm as those storms arrive, but we expect them to be weakening here on arrival. And we'll have a couple of those waves throughout the morning into the early afternoon, especially north of Highway 24. That's Brunswick, Moberly to Macon and Paris potentially. In the meantime, the rest of us, Columbia to Jefferson City, Sedalia, Lake of the Ozarks, we are hot and humid ahead of this chance for storms. Take a look at our temperature difference by around 5 o'clock. We've got 80s to the north, near 100 to the far south, near Warsaw and Osage Beach. We are hot and humid, but then we start to see storms develop in that heat. And we're going to likely see that activity move to the south and the east once it fires up. So we'll be watching this area near Kansas City to our northwest as well. We'll see storms develop, and this is where we will see some difference as time goes on with new data coming in. We're going to see things shift around a bit, but generally speaking, we expect this to be our time frame of strongest storms, or the best chance for severe weather. And we'll have, again, storms potentially growing into these larger complexes that are notorious for putting out strong winds. So these storms will be capable of damaging winds through about 2 to 3 a.m. Thursday morning. We mentioned potential for damaging winds. We're all in this 10% risk. That's the yellow that you see. But on top of that, we also have potential for high-end damaging winds, so winds that could exceed 70, 75 miles per hour. That we've got at least a 10% chance of that within 25 miles of any point here in this blue shade that you're looking. So that's all of us here in mid-Missouri. So storms that do develop a wind risk, we'll have to keep a close eye on. They could become certainly strong and severe, potentially destructive. So that's what we're keeping an eye on. Winds certainly are our greatest risk for severe weather. Looking further ahead, we've got daily chances for storms. Confidence is low in any type of severe weather, though. As we head into early next week, we stay warm. Temperatures near 90, but chances for rain, they're starting to dwindle a little heading into Monday and Tuesday.